Sony has revealed which games will be added to the PS Plus Extra and Deluxe catalog in November. Subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and now you'll find out which games will be added to the catalog and which will be removed. The new game in the catalog will be Grand Theft Auto V. Although as new, it was already in the subscription, then it was removed, now it's back again. It's called the GTA cycle in nature. Yes, despite the fact that most gamers have already gone through and replayed this game, there are still those who have not had time to play, either the story campaign or online. But man, reloading games in the subscription is still a bit annoying. They would have already agreed with Take-Two somehow and stopped deleting, but that, with RDR dancing back and forth at GTA, the next game that will be added to the extra subscription is called Dying Light 2 Stay Human. The events of the second part take place 15 years after the zombie apocalypse. Mankind has rolled back almost to the Middle Ages, and the resources necessary for life is becoming less and less because of what people are ready to tear each other's throats. The protagonist, Aiden, goes in search of his sister in the city, cut off from the outside world, but upon arrival, he is drawn into the local gang squabbles. The developers made parkour in the game more convenient, and fights a bit more dynamic, but personally, I still like the first part better. The next game that is added to the subscription is called Like a Dragon Ishin. Remake spin-off series Yakuza Like a Dragon Ishin takes the player to Japan 1867. In the game, familiar-looking characters from Yakuza appear, but in Ishin, they are completely different characters. The protagonist has 4 fighting styles and can chop enemies with a katana, shoot them with a pistol, flutter around the arena like a dancer, combining sword and firearms, or simply beat their faces with bare fists. Inherent in the Yakuza series, crazy techniques did not go anywhere, so we were shown the tiger summoning and killing the enemy by shoving salty plums into his mouth. The new subscription game is Overcooked, all you can eat. This compilation includes the first and second part of Overcooked with all additional content and improved graphics. Overcooked Kitchen Simulator allows you to feed delicious dishes to the most exquisite customers in a variety of places alone, and with friends online or in local cooperative. For example, you will have to cook on a pirate ship in a dark haunted house, among drifting ice flows, and even in space. When playing in the company is not uncommon when the tension rises and starts a little quarrels and squabbles, but this only makes it fun to play. The next game that will be added to the extra subscription is called Chivalry 2. It is a multiplayer action game in the medieval setting, where 2 armies of up to 32 players on each side face each other on the battlefield. At the beginning of the match, the player chooses the class of warrior he will fight as an archer, vanguard, infantryman, or knight. Each class has 3 subclasses, one of them is available immediately, and the rest are opened after pumping. The mechanics of battles may seem simple at first glance, but in fact, there are a lot of nuances, such as left or right blows, deceptive feints, bounces, penetrating defenses, kicks, etc. So, to learn to fight really well and understand all the nuances will require more than 1 hour of practice. But even without thorough training, you can break into the thick of battle and cut down a couple of heads, spattering the ground with blood. The subscription will also be supplemented by the action adventure about martial arts masters and artifacts. Search Clash Artifacts of Chaos. Shark Simulator, which to grow and evolve needs to explore underwater depths and eat a lot of meat-hungry shark world. Multiplayer fighting game with Stick Fight the Game. Simulation of the host of a night radio program who is hunted by the killer Frequency. Visual novel with elements of tactics, Digimon Survive. MotoGP 24 motorbike racing simulator. And The Sims 4 Island Living add-on. Deluxe and premium subscription holders and PSVR 2 helmets will also get access to Synapse. It's a roguelite shooter in which you have to destroy enemies using firearms and telekinesis. The game uses eye tracking to point at the object you want to throw, so you can use telekinesis quickly and accurately. By the way, you can throw both surrounding objects and enemies. Also in Synapse, there is a convenient system of shelters, so it should be convenient to shoot here too. Also, Deluxe and premium subscribers will be able to play 2 parts of Blood Omen Legacy of Kain Blood Omen 2. The first part is isometric, but the second part is made in full 3D. I don't know about you, but I miss vampire games. I think it's quite interesting, and since Bloodlines is being played again and again, the old Blood Omen can brighten up the wait, and if you want to shoot, you can do it in 2 parts of Resistance Fall of Man Resistance 2. These are PlayStation exclusive shooters, developed by Insomniac Games, which tell about an alternative universe where mankind fights with mutant chimeras. Write in the comments how you like the restock, and I'll tell you about the games that will be leaving your subscription on the 19th of November. The first game leaving the subscription in November is Red Dead Redemption 2. The game is a third-person, open-world action-adventure in a Wild West setting with great graphics and an interesting story. Also included here is Red Dead Online. Here there are story quests, as in the main game, and simple tasks for time, and PvP tests and races, and the capture of territories, and even a kind of royal battle. In general, if you're not saturated with the main game, Red Dead Online will help you to do it. Also, GTA San Andreas Definitive Edition is leaving the subscription. This is a remaster in which they changed the graphics, added various effects, and reworked the sounds. However, the game itself, its gameplay, missions, story, characters, and everything else remained untouched. So this remaster should appeal to both olds that played the original and young people who are unfamiliar with the game. Superliminal will leave the subscription on the 19th of November. It's a first-person puzzle game based on perspective and optical illusions. To solve the puzzles, players need to think outside the box and imagine ahead of time how the game, physics, and other laws will behave when they perform a certain action. If you are a fan of puzzles, Superliminal is definitely worth a try, especially since the game is small and will take about 3 hours to complete. Teardown will leave the PS Plus extra catalog in November. This is a destruction simulator where the player is invited to take the role of a robber and destroyer of everything and anything, which looks impressive because of the unique physics of destruction and interactivity with the surrounding world. The player can use pickaxes, explosives, cars, and other tools to destroy walls, roofs, tables, glass, and more to complete tasks. This game, by the way, has already left the ecstasy once, then it was quietly returned without saying anything to anyone, and now it is removed again. I wonder if this time it will be gone for good and will find a way to come back without telling anyone. Also, leaving the subscription in November will be Chorus. It is an adventure space shooter with a third-person view in a sci-fi setting. You play as spaceship pilot Naru, who fights the Circle religious cult that enslaves everyone in its path. The game promises an interesting story, spectacular battles in space, and a diverse space fleet of opponents, from small and skittish starships to titanic battleships and entire stations. What Remains of Edith Finch will leave the subscription on the 19th of November. The game is a collection of short stories about the Finch family who bear a taken ancient curse that has been passed down from generation to generation. Gameplay-wise, it's a wanderer where you have to explore the location and learn the stories of the Finch family. Overcooked 2 will be leaving the PS Plus extra catalog in November. It's an easy-to-control and fun game where you have to prepare meals in the allotted time, and there are a lot of tasks. You have to deliver ingredients for dishes. Chop, cut, put on cooking, frying, and make sure that everything doesn't burn. Assemble ready meals from different ingredients, serve plates with dishes, and of course, wash dirty dishes. To manage everything, you need to cooperate with your friends, but you need to be careful because such co-op can eventually turn into a quarrel. Also in November, Blasphemous will leave the subscription. It is a rather complex and dynamic action platformer. In it, players will have to explore a large world consisting of non-linear levels. The game has a pixelated but nice art design inspired by Spanish culture. Game bosses also look quite good and sometimes even frightening, and you can spend more than a dozen attempts to destroy them. On the 19th of November, Moving Out will leave the subscription. This is a moving simulator with realistic physics. The game offers to become a certified specialist in moving and arranging furniture. The player has to accept orders for moving things, but you can execute them carefully or think of different ways to reduce the distance or speed up loading, unloading. Moving Out can be played alone, but the most fun starts only in co-op. There's no online co-op, and co-op is only possible on a single console. In November, Dragon's Dogma Dark Arisen will leave the PS Plus extra catalog. This action RPG combines battles and exploration of a huge open world called Granseas, as well as large cities. There are 9 classes to choose from, with various unique skills and abilities. Among them, there is, for example, an interesting class Strider, which can climb on large enemies and attack them on vulnerable places. The game is old and was released on PS3, so it is unlikely to interest modern gamers now, but the oldies will be interesting to remember their youth. Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme Vias Maxi Boost On will be leaving the subscription on the 19th of November. This is a team-based multiplayer game where the player controls giant robots from different games in the Gundam series and battles other players who also control giant robots. Fans of the Gundam series will get the game, but everyone else is moving on with me. 4 games in the Kingdom Hearts series will be leaving the subscription in November. It's an action RPG that brings together characters from various media franchises owned by Disney and Square Enix, like Mickey Mouse, Goofy, Captain Jack Sparrow, Elsa, Michael Wazowski, Hercules, Woody, Buzz Lightyear, Winnie the Pooh, etc. And the game also has its own unique characters. Also, leaving the subscription in November will be RPG Ayuden Chronicle Rising, PS5, PS4, platformer Klonoa Fantasy Reverie series, PS5, PS4, and DLC The Sims 4 City Living. Write in the comments whether you'll be playing anything on this list. Click the bell and turn on all notifications so you always know what games are coming and going with your PS Plus subscription.